Welcome back to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry, and today we're going to make a snap bag. Usually these are little coin purses that you squeeze open and they snap back and forth, open and close, and therefore the name snap bag. Usually they're about the size of a coin purse or a little bigger. Today I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to make one quite a bit bigger than what you normally see. It's still a small bag, but it would be useful for items that you need to put together to put inside another bigger bag, like a tote or a bigger purse, or just simply a little snap bag that you can keep makeup brushes in, or just all kinds of uses. So we see a lot of little zipper bags, and sometimes we don't want to mess with zippers, so this is another alternative closure for a small bag. And it's fat quarter friendly. You can use up a couple of fat quarters and make a nice little bag, and therefore be using up some of that stash that you have. Today my bag is going to be this piece here, the outside piece that we'll be showing is 10 by 14, and then I also have an equal amount of a very thin fleece to go inside. This does not happen to be fusible, but if you have fusible, that's perfect. You can also do a little quilting on this once you get your fleece on. And then our inner piece is longer. It is 10 by 18, and you'll see how that's going to go together here in a moment. And then we have a 5-inch square. We need 2 of these for our pulls to be able to pull our bag open. So there's a little bit of hardware to make before you can get this bag all put together. So you're going to need to purchase some electrical tape. You can get it in colors like I have, or you can just use your black that you might have around in your toolbox. If you're using a very light colored fabric though, it might show through. A tape measure, you can find a tape measure in your toolbox that no longer works properly, or maybe the markings have worn off. You can use that, or you can just go purchase a very, very inexpensive one at your local grocery store even. You need a pair of snips that will cut metal. And then here I have already cut to length the pieces that I need for my snap hardware. So my pieces are 8.5, and I cut it with the snips off of here. And then I took the electrical tape and just wrapped the ends. But before I wrapped the ends, I snipped the corner a little bit so that those sharp ends would not be poking through any of my fabric. So that and the tape together should secure that problem from happening. And then, so our first step is going to be to apply our interfacing to the front of the bag. So that'll be our first step. So whether you need to go to your iron and iron it on, or use 505 adhesive spray, or whatever kind of glue type thing you want to use. You can use Elmer's glue if you want, just to kind of hold it in place. It doesn't have to be a fusible. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the next step with our backing. Okay, so I have my fleece on the back. I used some 505 spray and ran the iron over a little bit, and that should not shift. So now we're going to take our other piece, and we're going to turn down 1/4 of an inch on each end and iron that down. Let me show you how to do that. You can actually take a ruler and do it. I actually have one of those heat rulers. You can just kind of lay it underneath and press it over, or do it with your finger. You've got your little measure here. You could even use this to measure and see if you're doing 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to wing it here because I'm pretty keen on what 1/4 of an inch is. If you've been sewing for a while, I'm sure you are too. But don't make it too big, just make sure it's 1/4 or so. Okay, so the next step is, this is how this is going to lay. The next step is to make our pulls to open it. You're going to actually fold this from corner to corner, and then from corner to corner again, and then this will be your pull on each side of your snap. There's one, so that will go here, and then the other one. So that will go there. You just need to measure over equally on those, and then go over here to your sewing machine and sew that down. You're just going to take like a, this is going to show on the outside, so you want to make sure you use a nice top stitch, and if you want your thread to match and all of that, you need to get that in order before you start stitching. But you're going to put this right up against this edge of this piece and center it, and then you have your 1/4 inch there, and so you need to be able to keep enough room for this to slide in. So it does need to be snug, but you do only need to pull this in that 1/4 inch and then just stitch right at the very edge. Let me go over to the sewing machine and do that, and when I come back I'll show you. Okay, so here's how it should look. I did change to a pink thread, and I just barely caught the edge there, and that leaves about 3/4 inch or so inside that pocket to slide these in, and that's what we need to do now. And we need to make sure that the curved edge of these tape measure pieces are towards the outside, the hump. So stick that in there, and see, that's gonna form our closure. And then you're gonna want to, you can either stick a pin to where these won't move and make sure you sew beyond them. I think that's what I'll do. And then the other one as well, you want to make sure your curved side is on the outside of the bag. So make sure you do not run your needle over this metal tape measure. So see how much I have? I have about a thumb's width free there. So what we're going to do is fold this up, and yes, this will be the wrong side, or the inside of the bag. It's not the wrong side of the fabric, but it is the inside of the bag. And we're just going to sew down about a 1/2 inch on each side. And then after that, I'll show you how to finish these edges on the inside. Let me do this seam first. So a couple of things you can do once you get your 1/2 inch seam sewn is go back and do a zigzag or some other finishing type of stitch that your machine has. Don't run it through a serger. I've heard that that's kind of dangerous with this and this metal in here. You could actually just run another straight line of stitching and trim it. You could use your pinking shears if you have pinking shears, and just pink those edges, because these will be raw on the inside. So it is good to finish them some way if you can. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut, since I put a another finishing stitch on there. I'm just going to go ahead and cut away the excess that's on there, because it just doesn't need to be there. And this will keep it from raveling out inside. It's still a raw seam per se, but it's a lot nicer than not doing anything. Now all we have to do is turn the bag, and that is easy. You just open it up, and then you just flip those two pieces over. They flip over nice. Oh, you can also trim your corners, which I did not do. Although I did trim them back quite a bit, so I think I'll be okay. All right. So this makes a nice little bag. Opens like that, snaps shut. Pretty cool. It's not like super secure like a zipper would be, of course, but it is an alternative to a closure that works if you wanted to try this out. So this turned out to be about 9 inches by 7.5. 7.5 by 9. So this is a nice little bag to store things in, and you can see the raw edges down in there, but they're not interfering in any way with the bag. So try it out and get a couple of 5-inch squares for these, a couple of fat quarters, cut them down into the measurements of 10 by 14 and 10 by 18, and follow the rest of the instructions for this bag. Very simple, very quick. So if you need another quick gift, this might be just the ticket for you. All right, I hope you make one. Let me know, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.